Bob Nightingale says, don't expect Cody Bellinger to sign this week. I know a lot of you guys have had your fingers crossed, but if he's right, it'll be next week maybe before Cody Bellinger picks his team. A couple guys did sign today, though, some big-name players, Jose Altuve and Clayton Kershaw. One Cub was traded today to the Phillies, and another former Cub is going from the big leagues to the minors. We're going to talk about all that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure that you guys like and follow. Give us a thumbs up. Let's get this thing started. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Gillispie. Great to see you guys today at Broadcaster Mick on the Twitter, the X, and the socials, and really appreciate all of you guys hanging out here today in the comments section. Love you guys there as well. All right, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into today's topics. Cubs made a trade. Michael Rucker, who was really the odd man out when the Cubs signed Neris, was traded to the Phillies for cash consideration. So, you designate them, then they come and say, hey, we'll take them, and then you send them over for cash considerations. Who knows? I remember Tony Zick was traded for cash considerations. The cash was $1. He was traded by the Cubs to the Mariners, and eventually got to the big leagues. And, that was a while ago, but still, you never know what the money is. Rucker, though, Rule 5 by Baltimore and then eventually sent back to the Cubs. He's got really good stuff, a lot of spin on his slider. Just never really kind of became a star pitcher with the Cubs. We saw flashes of really good pitching. And so now he'll go to the Phillies and they'll figure out if they can work with him or not. But great guy and someone that I certainly wish the very best to as he moves on. Another former Cubs first-round pick in the news, and that's Ryan Jensen, moved to the AAA roster by Minnesota. And that's because the Twins basically designated him for assignment, and then he wasn't claimed. And so when that happens, you are reassigned. So he was actually put on waivers, designated by assignment, and then he'll stay with the organization, and he'll be with the AAA St. Paul roster. So he's not on the 40-man anymore. This is a guy who I think has a lot of potential. The Cubs in 2019 took him in the first round. He's really strong. He's got big hands, throws with velocity, but he just doesn't throw enough strikes. And that's been the thing that has really kept him from having success. And in the Cubs system, they have so many rules and regulations on how many pitches you can throw. I think he's just going to go somewhere and they're going to say, hey, man, you're going to throw until you can throw strikes or can't throw strikes. And we'll see if that ever translates into being a major leaguer. But the stuff's there. He throws in the upper 90s. I've seen him hit 98, 99. And he's got just a ton of movement. Plus, he's another guy with a great personality. So we'll see what happens there. But I've been keeping an eye on that. I mean, you know, how many first rounders do you get a year, right? And those guys you expect that they're going to get to the big leagues and make an impact. And, you know, for him, that wasn't the case. But he's got the potential to do that. All right, let's talk Cody Bellinger. I mean, I feel like we do this every single day, and why not, right? He was the best player on the team last year. According to Bob Nightgale of the USA Today, Bellinger not expected to sign this week. I'm expecting him to sign any day. Like every time I see something come across my phone, I'm going, okay, this is when he signs, or this is when he signs. I mean, I get the patience that Boris is having right now, his agent, to wait out the market, but I just don't know that the market's there as far as the amount of money that they want him to make. And Carter Hawkins, talking about signing free agents Saturday on The Score, said, we got a value and the player has a value, and you just hope that there's kind of like an interlocking circle and then you can kind of work something out. So the fact that they haven't done anything yet leads me to believe that those circles aren't aligning yet. And so when that happens, I think that we'll have a deal done. But you're hearing the Phillies could be a dark horse in this. Talked about it a couple of days ago. I just don't think that the Phillies are a dark horse here. Yesterday mentioned that Jorge Soler is a possibility for the San Francisco Giants. If they sign him, they're not going to sign Cody Bellinger, most likely. The Angels are, you want to go there and lose. Um, it'd be fun to be in the same outfield with Mike Trout, but that's an organization that's got a lot of work to do to be competitive. And, for Cody Bellinger, the best fit is the Cubs. Be the face of the franchise. He's going to get a big payday. The players love him. His teammates, the fans love him. We've said this over and over again, but Bob Nightgale seems to really be on top of this stuff. He's been the guy who's, to me, been about as accurate as possible during this off season. And so if he's saying that don't expect Bellinger to sign, I'm not expecting him to sign. A couple guys that did sign today, though, are two big-time superstars in the major leagues. One of them is Jose Altuve, and it was an extension that Altuve signed. And you know him from the Astros. He signed a 5-year extension. It covers 2025 to 2029. Now, he's part of the Boris Corporation. He got a guaranteed $125 million. He gets $15 million for his signing bonus. His previous deal was $26 million in 2024. And so now he's going to make 30, and that'll be between 25 and 27. And then he'll make 10 million from 28 to 29, and then he'll be a free agency after that. But one of the best players in baseball. He's really not only been a great player for Houston, but he's also been a great leader for them. And I feel like for the Cubs, just kind of looking at it from that same prism, where the Astros have continually basically contended, the Cubs haven't. And maybe it's because of all those great players that the Cubs had, none of those guys really stepped up and were that type of leader, right? Javi Baez, gone. Anthony Rizzo, gone. I never thought Rizzo was a leader. I thought he was a good player. Chris Bryant, gone. Same thing, good player. Didn't really see him as a leader, but definitely a star player. But Altuve's definitely a leader. I mean, he's the face of the franchise, and so he'll be there. And that's not a big surprise to me. I guess I would have been more surprised if he'd be somewhere else. I mean, I kind of feel like he'll be a Hall of Famer, and when he is, he'll be an Astro Hall of Famer, and he could be one of those guys who plays his entire career with the Stros. Another guy that signed, who I think plays his entire career with the same team, is Clayton Kershaw. So the Dodgers agreed to a contract with Kershaw. He's got to take his physical on Thursday. He's an Excel Sports Management client, and he had shoulder surgery in November. So he'll be sidelined into the second half of the season, but the Dodgers didn't want him not to be there. Maybe, he comes back at a time when he can slide right into the rotation. So he'll be on the 60-man IL, but he'll stay a Dodger. 17 years now with the LA Dodgers. He was the 7th overall pick in 06. He's definitely going to be considered as a Hall of Famer when he retires. He's been fantastic. You're talking about a Cy Young Award guy, but someone who has definitely suffered the wrath of old age and injuries. Still, you can never have enough pitching. And if you're the Dodgers, why wouldn't you sign Kershaw? I mean, you've signed everyone else, right? Yamamoto and Ohtani and Glasnow, and just you keep signing guys. Why not? Why not sign one of the all-time greats? All right, that's it for the show today, guys. We'll be keeping an eye on everything going on. Let me remind you that we're brought to you by the Tennessee Smokies, the Cubs AA affiliate. Make sure that you check out their team store, the Smokies Baseball team store, smokiesbaseball.com/store. Autographs, jerseys, Cubs gear, Smokies gear, championship gear. They won their first championship in 45 years. All of that there at the Tennessee Smokies team store.